and say hello to our guest co-hosts for today, you guys, Brian Seymour and Prince TJ. They are still here with us. So it is time for some more Ed Chat. I'm going to hand this over to Andrew because he has our next topic, which is a classroom community.
Mm.
Yes. So, Andrew, why don't you take it away for us on this?
All right. Classroom communities. All right. So this is mainly it's mainly for it says middle school, but it's mainly for all schools. Okay. So teachers face many challenges in keeping students participating in lessons in order to keep them become active learners. So why do us want y'all to participate? Well, the education therapist Anthony Wagner has stressed that learning occurs best through social participation, and participation is the best indicator of whether or not students are paying attention or not. Because we always have that one student that always wants to put the head down and goes to sleep. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So, just like the last summit that we talked about, technology has played a role in helping increase participation. Like Brian said, through Kahoot, Kahoot, Booklet, Clickers, or Google Forms, where
It
all
is.
can be involved at the same time. Yet,
Mhm.
yet those students are participating through this great technology. I'm gonna ask this question right here to y'all. Are they active participants and why?
Um, are they active participants?
Mm-hmm.
I
There's
feel
no wrong
like
answer.
that. I feel like that. I feel like when you go into a classroom, you gotta participate. I mean, because when I was in class, I hated when kids just come in the classroom like they ain't got no sense that God gave a billy goat. Uh, they just act like they have no home training. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And then,
Mm-hmm.
then the kids, when we used to get in small groups or we used to do these fun little activities in the classroom, and then the kids would be sitting there mad. Oh, we're losing. Like, what are you mad for? Like, uh, get some spirit. But I don't know. I don't know. What's your guys' thought? I have to hear somebody's thoughts first. I don't.
Oh,
I really don't know.
before we go into that, there's always that one in that group that doesn't do anything.
Right, that would
Just
be
want to
me.
put that out
Um,
there.
I'm like the creator. I sit back and watch. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this, you guys.
There's no right or wrong
No, no,
answer.
no, no, no. I know that, but you guys probably gonna, want to hear why I feel this way.
Go
I'm
ahead.
I'm sorry, but I don't feel that every student who comes into the classroom has to participate. I
Mm.
just don't feel
Mm,
that way. I
mm,
don't. If
Mm.
they feel like, if, inside the classroom, if they're doing something, the teacher, is, you guys, I understand, we want our students, participate, so they can, this and that. I understand that. But what if some of your students who just don't want to participate? For me, I am not going to, as a classroom teacher, I am not going to force, my students, if I ask them something and if they feel like they don't want to answer, they don't want to participate, okay, I'm gonna just leave you alone. If that's how you feel, you don't have to be a part of to this. But at least, you pay attention and you're listening. That is all I want for my students. That is it. If some students feel they want to participate, go ahead, raise your hand. I'll call on you, this and that. But I'm not going to force my students to always have to participate in a group activity, whatever. That's
And
One
just
of the
with
things,
me.
one of the
That's
things,
just me.
let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
For the students that are not working, let's say they have a separate, they don't want to work in a group, but they're still participating in the activity that you are still giving out. Are
Right.
they still active participants?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
I would say participating is it's a thing that kind of lets the teacher know that this student is enjoying it, and the student is kind of resetting the information and understanding the information, because as you participate, then you kind of can tell which student gets the information or which student doesn't get the information.
Right.
That's what I see what participation is all about. And students sometimes participates because, I'm not gonna lie, some students don't like to participate, and in some of the classrooms I've been in, it's kind of a big goal of participation, because classroom participation is a grade category in our grade system. For that certain class, for instance, a Spanish class, if you don't participate in reading a Spanish sentence out loud, then you might not get a beautiful grade in that class. So I can kind of see where Damien's going with, some students don't like to participate and don't have to participate, not trying to force students to participate. But I feel like participation is a standard and a goal that lets the teacher know that, hey, this kid gets it. He understands everything. Now I want to hear this kid gets it. Because I think opening your mouth and saying what you're saying and getting wrong answers and getting right answers can let the teacher know that, okay, I might want to think about this topic more, and then bring it back and see if the student can answer this question more correctly. Active participation is not just about students raising their hands. It's about how the student can understand the information, how they can relate on the information and say the information. You know?
Right.
I'm glad that you said
Because
that. I'm sorry. I'm glad that you said it um, because there's two types of levels of engagement, and there's participants and active participants. And what Bry said is a participant that would respond to questions being asked in an individual context, versus an active participant that will answer questions asked of them, but also feel part of the conversation and be tuned in with the comments of their peers.
Exactly.
Okay. So, of course, we want all students to be active participants in the classroom, either participating in a group activity or working by themselves. They're still working on the lesson. Yes. So building communities in the classroom is key to accomplishing this. Okay. So what does it mean? So building communities is to promote collaboration and building relationships that foster a positive and productive work experience. And that is the same concept to students.
Yep.
Okay. Like I said again, students can work by themselves or work in a group, or you can have students lead the class. Kind of take a step back and have the students lead the class, kind of like what I did a couple of years ago, where I taught my classmates how to do proportions back in 8th grade.
I remember that. I never liked them, but I remember.
Because but there are some students that do not get it at all.
Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
So as students and teachers start to feel a sense of belonging to a community, they can build up their roles in the classroom. It is human nature to want to feel accepted, and that acceptance can lead to confidence and willingness to participate and work as a team. So going back to, as my hand is going that way, it should be going this way. As Damien said, Some of his students does not want to participate in a group activity, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But in his classroom, in his community, they're still working as a team. Even though some of his students are working by themselves, they're still participating. They're still working as a team. They're still getting their work done.
Absolutely.
And going back to what Brian said, which kind of leads to the next sentence here, often teachers focus on the needs of students on an individual level, which is great because we want to make sure that each student understand the content to the best of their ability. So Brian hit the nail right there on that. Okay. So overall, really, it sets the tone and encourages students to be active members of their own learning. So meaning by that is take the time to build relationships with your student. I don't know how many times that we have said this ever since season 1. Build a relationship with your students.
I can agree on that because